What is up, guys? It is your girl, Mindy, the Karmic DF from TikTok. And today we're going to talk about a big question that I get from a lot of my clients is, why am I not getting to where I need to go? And what I see when I do my readings is that a lot of times we have this, either we go to the far left where it's like analysis paralysis, or we go to the far right where it's toxic positivity, and we're not actually doing the inner work that we need in order to ascend to the vibration that we want to be at and to be able to bring in the manifestations that we want in our lives, whether that's a career, a relationship, healthy friendships, any sort of whatever you're trying to manifest. So if this is something that you have trouble with, where you're like, where are my manifestations? Why aren't things working out for me? And you're trying, you're putting the effort in, but it's not coming back to you and you're wondering why, then this is probably the video for you. So as always, if you like my videos, please give it a like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and as always, let's get into it. So I know this sounds very hippie, but you're already on my video, so here we are. What you focus on is what your reality becomes. So like, if you're focusing on lack, that's what you're going to see. Your reality is a reflection of what your mind is telling you to be true. For instance, have you ever noticed that when you're like, oh my God, I've dated all of these guys that cheat on me all the time. That's all I attract is cheaters. And then sure enough, you attract cheaters, right? It's kind of like this self-fulfilling prophecy, except that it's very much energetically based. And so if we continue to focus on those negative emotions and continue to put energy into things and experiences that we no longer want to have in our lives, we are still going to have that in our lives, because what we put energy into is what we receive back. So as you're doing your healing work, which is incredibly important, I don't promote toxic positivity, but as you're doing your healing work, I want you to ask yourself, am I too focused on these things to the point that I've become a victim of my own life? When we want to take a new career pursuit, for instance, if you're into entrepreneurship, it's really a scary thing to do, right? To take that leap of faith and hope that the universe catches you, right? But why would we have a gut intuition? Why would we have dreams? Why would we be able to visualize it if it's not part of our destiny? You get it? It's kind of hard for us to like visualize something we can't possibly fathom, but it's really easy for us to visualize something that's true to our hearts, near and dear to our hearts, right? And that's because, I'm not going to go too off spiritual with this, but time is a social construct. And so if you can visualize a life that, brings you joy, brings you peace, brings you harmony, a life that, your soulmate, and you have a job that pays you well and you're not being worked to the brim, if you can truly visualize that, then that's probably part of your soul contract, part of your destiny, and part of what you are meant to manifest. So don't necessarily give up just because you aren't seeing your manifestations come to fruition. You're not seeing your hard work paying off yet. Chances are there's an energetic blockage because you don't believe that it's possible. Your brain is going around and it's saying, well, realistically and logically and from my experience I've seen in the past, and you kind of go off of that instead of trusting your heart, trusting your guidance. And it's really hard to just kind of take that leap of faith, right? Like we all kind of we learn how to do it, and then we adjust, we do the shadow work again, and then we get back into it, and then we have to do some more shadow work, because remember, learning about yourself is deprogramming all of the layers that you have thought to be your identity up until this moment in time, until you realized who you were and who you really wanted to be moving forward. So if you have these dreams, don't give up on these dreams. But at the same time, if you're not seeing your dreams manifest, come to fruition, ask yourself, what part of me could be blocking these things from even happening? What part of me still needs to be released? What do I have to let go of? What shadow work do I still need to pour into? What is coming up into my mind that I thought I was already over, but it's still popping up? Ask these bigger questions. Get used to talking to yourself. It's kind of weird, I know, but if you're spiritual, you probably already do it. But if you can ask yourself these questions and really get into the thick of it, where you're like, I don't understand why my relationships aren't working. Maybe it's time to look at yourself. What is it that you settle for in relationships that you would tell someone you love unconditionally never to do, right? Because a lot of times we give great advice, but we don't necessarily take it. And so we may make excuses for people because we can see their potential. We understand what they've been through because we've been through it, but we got out of it. And so we kind of make excuses for people, right? And so what we need to do is dig into the subconscious mind and start to understand why we have these lack mentalities, why we believe it to be true of the negative aspect while still trying to manifest a positive one. You can't have both. I literally just heard spirit in my head go, you can't have one without the other. And it's yin yang. It's both energies combined into one. Because if you think about it, if life was easy, right? I think celebrities are a great example of this, and how in our media right now, they're like literally losing their minds. Money doesn't buy happiness, right? I think we've seen that to be true. We've seen all these celebs coming out about how they've had addictions or they've been assaulted or someone else has been, you know what I mean? Like, that's the point. Money doesn't buy happiness. Mindset does. Mindset buys happiness, because when we believe that the only moment that matters is today, and we believe that we can bring in whatever our heart's desire is because we can visualize it, that is when the game changes. But it takes consistency. So as you are trying to manifest, whether it's a relationship, a career, friendships, whatever, the biggest question that you need to ask yourself is, do I believe it's possible? Do I believe that I am worthy of the things that I am setting myself up to receive? Do I believe that it's not realistic? And if I do believe that it's not realistic, what programming from my past do I still need to work on? What do I need to look at in terms of my limited consciousness, limited abilities to believe in my own knowing? Where can we take that to get to the root cause to figure out what we still need to heal? Because more often than not, if someone isn't capable of manifesting whatever it is they're trying to bring in, it's usually due to divine timing and an energetic blockage, which is always about you are not at the frequency you need to be at in order to receive your blessings, because you don't believe in yourself, you don't think it's realistic, you still have one foot like in the door, one foot out. Yeah, because I'm channeling the song, I got one hand in my pocket and the other one is flicking a cigarette. It's just kind of giving me this energy of like, I'm in it, but I'm not, you know what I mean? It's like one foot in the door, one foot out. And that is what I see with a lot of people, including myself when I first started to do this. It was just like, I believe it, I know it, it's possible, but then all the outside distractions kind of get in your head, right? You have family members that have always followed, working their asses off for close to nothing. And maybe you have family members that see relationships to be an older school dynamic where the man doesn't have to be emotionally available because they believe that you should do all the work. Like, generations have changed. We are changing. We are ascending in a collective energy, collective vibration. We are all taking us a moment to go, who am I really and what do I really want? What would benefit my life moving forward? Because now that we've had this lockdown, now that I've had time to sit with myself, I realize that I haven't been happy at all, right? Or you've had happy moments, but as a whole, you've settled for a lot of things that now you're seeing it as, I should have never settled for that. And don't blame yourself, because you have to remember that you're human, you're learning. This is a school of learning. That is what Earth is. It is that simple. And when we can stop holding negative energy towards something is when we are finally free from it. So even when you're like, I want to attract abundance, right? And this is an issue that I had growing up without a lot of money. It was really hard for me to attract it in at first because I hated money, right? I hated money because it was always something that made my family scared, made me scared, made me worry about where I was going to sleep at night. Like, when you come from a poverty background, it's kind of hard to believe that money can just freely come to you, right? Because now you're training your brain to believe in yourself over situations in the past that you've seen not work out in a good way, right? But you have to ask other surrounding questions so that your brain can go, oh, now this makes more sense. The people that are in poverty, including when I was in poverty as well, we have that attitude of it's never going to get better, or it's always me, or I always attract this, but do you see what I'm saying? That's the point of this entire video, is this inner critic, this self-talk, and this belief that everything in your past proves that you can never have more in your future. That's never been true. That'll never be true, because once you can also realize that time is not real, it's a social construct, that all we have is right now. All we have is today. So yeah, the past may have kind of proven your point, I guess, but were you even the same person then as you are today? Because I bet that you're not. I bet that you've had some sort of life-altering moment, probably around 2020, maybe before, maybe after. But the point is, we as a collective have seen that we don't want to be unhappy anymore. And unfortunately, right now we're living in a moment where we don't really know what's coming, right? We don't know for sure. But in reality, have we ever known for sure? Tomorrow's never promised. That's a quote we've always known. But it's never one we really follow, right? Until things get really hard or things get impossible. So let's not let it get there, right? In order to not let it get there, we have to believe that that is not possible. That failing is not possible. That a relationship that is unequal is not possible. That friendships that are only take and never give are not possible. When you can change your brain to look at it that way and go, I've had enough. I don't even care if my brain can prove it to me. I believe that there's more. I believe I'll have better friends. I believe I'll find that person that loves me for who I am, true to my core. And I don't have to settle ever again. Because otherwise, what is the point of this life, right? You really honestly believe that we're here to suffer? No. Society wants you to suffer. But it's up to you whether you decide to be happy or decide to believe this matrix and keep going down that road of being miserable and then wondering why you're stuck and then wondering why nothing ever works out for you when you're doing this self-fulfilling prophecy all the time. We have seen how placebo effects really work. They do work. That's why they have those blind tests when they do medications, because placebo is just as strong, scientifically proven, just as strong. So if you believe it to be true, it becomes true. So what do you want to focus on? What is your intention? And never stray from that. You're going to have your bad days, and that's totally okay. We're human. We're learning. But you always got to get back up. You got to go back to what you were saying before, that you will attract that partner, that you will get that job, that you will succeed in life, that you will be happy, that you are already happy. Own it today. You want your dream reality? Pretend it's already here, because our brain doesn't know the difference. So if you wake up tomorrow morning and you go, I'm already in my dream reality, I'm loving my life, and you stay in that vibration, you stay with that attitude, and listen, we're human, not going to be perfect at it. But if you keep trying, just like you've convinced yourself that you're broken, you will convince yourself that you are a badass bitch, boss, babe, boo, whatever you are, whatever you want to qualify yourself as. But you have to believe it first. Believe it first and watch the universe believe it too. It's up to you to decide what you want your future to look like. You are in control of your future, of your destination, of your divine path. But are you going to get other people involved? Are you going to ask them for their opinion when you know you better than anybody else? Are you going to ask people whose lives you don't even want for their advice? Have they tried? Have they pushed themselves the way that you have? Your path is different. You are unique. You've decided to choose happiness in a world full of chaos and uncertainty right now. And that is strength. That is courage. That is daring to be brave in a world full of what ifs. So you're already there. You just have to believe that you are worthy and that you've always been worthy, that you are inherently worthy. And when you can get to that place, that's when everything aligns for you. The only thing that could possibly stop you from getting what you want as you're working on yourself is divine timing at that point. And that's because we don't know everything about this world. We might have a few more hurdles that we need to learn about, right? I remember I thought I was ready to date, and I tried to date, and then I realized, whoa, after the last heartbreak, I've become emotionally avoidant, and I still have more work to do. When you could be that honest with yourself and do that work and take a look at yourself. How do I contribute to failing relationships, even if I wasn't necessarily the worst one? How do I contribute to my career not going in the direction I want it to go in? How do I contribute to my life not being what I want it to be? And be honest with yourself. And then you take all that information, you soak it in, you give yourself a little self-care day because you deserve it. You've been working your ass off on these things. And then you dust yourself off and try again. Channeling it, as I said it. I love that song. Dust yourself off and try again. You can dust it off and try again. So basically, that is the point. Where your intention goes is where your energy flows. And the sooner you realize that, and start to journal it too. Like, do small manifestations to try and get your own brain to believe it. So be like, I want to manifest $25 in the next week. And then surrender. You have to surrender. That's part of it. You can't just keep pulling, because then it's not part of it. But watch what happens. So that your brain can go, oh, this really does work for me. I'm going to leave you at this. I had a moment where I wanted to quit all social media. I was done. I was just emotionally like, I can't do this anymore, because I had been shadow banned numerous times on TikTok and it was just hell. And so I had like a come to Jesus moment. And I'm not religious, but I had a moment where I was like, is this what I'm meant to be doing? Why is it this hard if it's what I'm meant to be doing? And something in me just knew that even in the greatest hurdles of life, that's where you become the strongest warrior. When you are so confident in yourself that nobody else can be anything. They could say the meanest words. They could be as cruel as possible. But you are already so aware of who you are to your core. That is a level of freedom that nobody really gets. Except we're finally starting to do it as a collective, and it is exciting. And that is why the future is exciting. When you talk to anybody that is a channel, medium, psychic, truther, all the group, right? Anybody who knows what's going on in the ethers. We all have a lot of hope because we know that the future is bright, but it's up to you. It's up to your ego, and it's up to your free will mind to go, do I want to take a chance on myself? Or do I want to believe the naysayers that do their own self-fulfilling prophecies, right? 11:11 on my clock as I said that. Come on. You got to believe in yourself, and you got to believe in your dreams, and you got to visualize it often. You have to work on that inner critic that says that you can't, because it's not true. It's what somebody else told you that your brain just kind of pushed in and went, okay, yep, that's true. Throw it in there. Throw it in the back. I've heard it a lot. All right, I'm going to keep it. It's fact, obviously. No, it's not. It could be haters. It could be people that have never seen the good side of life, and so they're trying to protect you, when in reality, they just kind of don't understand how manifestation works, but you do. So now it's up to you. What are you going to choose? Are you going to choose to stay afraid? Or are you going to choose to take that leap of faith and keep visualizing and keep being determined and keep spreading positivity and pull yourself back when you can't do that anymore? Realize that you have some more shadow work and more healing that you need to do. Don't put that onto other people. Bring it home so that you could finally remove whatever's in here that needs to be removed, so that you could be a perfect match and a perfect harmony to the life that you've always dreamed of. That's ultimately up to you. But I believe in you, and I know we're headed in a great direction. So follow these tools. Keep trying to manifest. Keep working on that inner critic. Keep believing in yourself. Keep already saying it as if you have it. I already have the man. I already have the woman. I already have the job. I already have this. I already have that. Own it. Believe it. And live openly. Surrender. And believe that something will come to you. And you will be a magnet for good things. Just like when you believed everything bad was bad, you are a magnet for all the bad things. Switch your mind and switch the trajectory of your life. It starts with you. So I'm going to leave it at this. I hope it was helpful. If you have any questions, or if you want a part 2 of other ways to help with manifestation, let me know down in the comments. But as always, I'm here if you guys have any questions in regards to spirituality, conspiracy, extraterrestrial, all of it. I love all things spiritual, so feel free to let me know what you guys need as well. But as always, I love you guys. Have a great morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, and I will see you next time. Take care.